Hi, we are the Bubble Ballers and we're going to talk about sweet and pressing issues. I'm Hans.
Hi, I'm Ashley, and we are the hosts for tonight's podcast.
Hi, I'm Jaden.
Hey, I'm Gerardo.
Hi, I'm Kylie.
And so, what if you guys think, what if someone stole a drink from your culture and called it some name like Baba?
But instead, it was something you held with deep regard.
In the recent event on the show, Dragon's Den, Simu Liu expressed outward disapproval on the appropriation of classic Taiwanese drink Boba. We see that entrepreneurs were only interested.
Yes, and we will jump straight into our talking point number one, which is the value and quality of traditional teas for one's heritage allows their culture to spread.
Okay, so although we find boba to be very sweet and commercialized, and we always want it to fix a craving, seldom do we realize the significance of its roots. From the article UNESCO on Silk Road and culture dissemination from tea, I found that tea has a very deep history rooted in the 16th century from the Silk Roads of China, and we find many of these teas like black, oolong, and green, or even white, originally disseminate from Camellia sinensis. And we find this distinctly served a political as medical drink in the Shang dynasty, but evolved into a beverage in the Tang period, around, say, 1618 through 1907 Common Era. So, what do you think? It became popular due to trade routes that spread across all around Asia, creating dissemination and propagation of new tea flavors. I kind of find it disturbing how something that stems from a rich history of trading turned into a commercialized product for the West, often foregoing its ties and roots in Asia. Its relation to its Asian roots of boba, we find that a new company emerged that's sweeping the markets called Bobba. This is a company created in Canada, headed by two Canadian French citizens, and they are appropriating a cultural drink without even knowing it, giving it and also it's not giving any representation and calling it their own. Don't you think it's a little bit disrespectful to even steal a product which Asians have deep roots and call it even their own?
Yes, I actually wanted to add on to what you were going to say. I completely agree with you there. I genuinely believe that it was really disrespectful for them to practically steal the product from the Asian culture and put it off as a product without any prior appreciation for it. Which brings me to my point when, in an article, I found that one of the entrepreneurs, when she was pitching the idea, said that trendy sugary drink you're queuing up for and you're never quite sure about its contents. Those days are over with boba. And Simu Liu adds, hold on, I'm quite sure about its content, but continue. And I believe something that was very overlooked during the segment on the show by the other dragons or investors was when that entrepreneur pitched the idea by saying that they didn't know the contents of boba, when in reality, basically everyone does. It's milk and tea. And because she was unaware of the importance, making, and value of traditional teas, it made her statement in a way culturally insensitive. Since the tea is a very big part of many different cultures, I feel that she and her partner should have done more research on both their product and their pitch before going on the show in front of all those investors. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree that I think it was very disrespectful of the entrepreneurs to say that the contents of boba are unknown. And they really brushed over it when Simu almost like checked her and said, "Well, I'm aware of the context." But yeah, I think that the idea that boba is an unknown drink by the entrepreneurs, it's like a almost like a microaggression. It's disrespectful to the cultural background of boba as it's from Taiwan and has like been popular since the 80s and been a staple around Asia ever since. To dub the contents of the drink unknown, although boba is really just a mixed tea drink with tapioca balls, they're reaffirming the idea of Asian culture being too foreign for a westernized audience. This idea is dangerous as it not only erases cultural accuracy for a more digestible westernized version, but it reaffirms the idea that Asian culture is too foreign for a modern society. So yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with Simu Liu and his problems with the Baba company. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm gonna interject, and I really think that also brings into the important factor that when a person or a company is marketing a product to the Western audience, they should also bring up the importance of honoring the cultural dish of where it came from. And when it comes to presenting this cultural dish, there is a fine line between cultural appreciation and cultural appropriation. And with this an example of the Dragon's Den, Simu Liu actually expresses his clear discomfort at how this product is being marketed towards the broader audience. And from this quote from the People's article, there's a statement that says there's also an issue with a cultural appropriation. There's an issue of taking something that is very distinctly Asian in its identity and trying to, in quote, making it better, which I have an issue with. And within this statement, I definitely agree with Simu Liu on his stance of calling out this product as they claimed it to be a better version of boba, but not truly boba, because it was made to be trendy and marketed exclusively towards adults due to the alcohol content within the drink in itself. And boba is generally meant to be family friendly for all ages, which makes it that famous drink that we all know and love. And clearly, due to this significant change within the product, it can be classified as cultural appropriation. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you there. I also believe that it is very much cultural appropriation by taking a drink like that and trying to add alcohol to it to make it exclusively for a specific audience. Which brings me to my next point, where in the show, Simu Liu was telling the pictures that I'm studying your can and I'm looking for anything that tells me where boba came from, and where boba came from is Taiwan. Not only do I feel like this is not happening here, but that I would be uplifting a business that is profiting off of something that feels so dear to my cultural heritage. I want to be part of bringing boba to the masses, but not like this. And I completely agree with what he said here, because I genuinely believe that them not putting anything related to the cultural origin or heritage of boba tea on the bottle shows their ignorance towards honoring the Taiwanese heritage of the tea, despite saying that they have partners in Taiwan. If I were you, I would also not invest in this business, so I definitely think that he did the right thing here. What do you guys think?
No, I definitely would have passed up on the offer because I feel like it's unfair how the cultural aspect of this culturally significant drink with like years of culinary history can just be stripped away by some supposed entrepreneurs and then be profited off of. Like, if you look at the instance of yerba mate cans, although it might come off as a little patronizing, they at least.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So, what do you guys think about that? Because I think there's something interesting about the yerba mate having influence on its impact for world's dissemination for even tea.
Yeah, I think that um, it's disrespectful how Baba, or disappointing that Baba didn't really show the respect for the cultural background of boba like yerba mate did. And that leads me to my third point of why it's misguiding for them to have even changed the name of boba to baba in the first place. I believe that getting the name of the drink right was the bare minimum the entrepreneurs could have done to show their respect to the cultural background behind boba. Despite that, they decided to name their brand Bobba with two B's to market their drink off as quote unquote trendy or fun. However, their failure to merely name the drink correctly shows that they have little care for the origins of the drink and that they're just trying to profit off of it. So yes, I feel like changing the name of boba, a drink that is of another culture to the entrepreneurs, is incredibly misleading as it implies that there is a new version to boba, although the entrepreneurs have merely created a mock version of the drink and marketed it off as innovative. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that because there's also another quote from the same article from the People's article saying that Ficiet described Baba as the transforming, in quote, beloved beverage into a, in quote, convenient and healthier ready to drink experience, while Liu looks skeptical at their wording. And I believe that the subconscious view on how people try to make the culture drink, in quote, better or twist into something new without consulting those who belong in that culture is what makes others skeptical of purchasing or even investing in these products because it can not only seem as a cultural appropriation but also as a quick and lazy way for people to make more money. But what do you guys think of this?
Yeah, I'd like how you brought up the concept of it being a lazy way, because I think it's kind of insensitive to not stay simply true to the name of something. And I feel like that's the first sign that you could tell that whoever is selling it is they're not appreciating, but they're appropriating whatever they're trying to sell. And that's definitely something that I've seen in the United States happen, or mostly throughout North America, like how this is happening in Canada. I feel like it's unoriginal and lazy that they'll warp the name just to suit whatever their ideal of what the thing should be or what it should be called. And like personally, this has also happened when people don't take the time or even try to like understand my name or my family's name. It's definitely a recurring theme in Western societies when it comes to ethnic or quote unquote foreign, uh, both food and culture in general.
Wow, that was a lot to unpack. But yeah, Western cultures are coming in a new wave of colonialism powers, and not through just owning people through their land and even themselves. It's more now taking culture and profiting from it. We find that many people in Western culture just take things and not give credit, especially like the Yerba Mate. But like now they progressed into sharing the culture that was belonging to Latin American people. And
Yes, I. Oh,
Sima Lu also has a very interesting point that he wants to call out people because it's not right to just steal people's culture and pass it on as their own for any capital gain without any representation.
yes, I think it's vital for our generation to be educated about where we source our culture because we have a voice louder and farther than the Silk Road's influence today. Without culture, we become a number to the West. And here we have prepared 3 questions for the audience to reflect about.
So the first one is, what do you think? Was it right for Sima Lu to call out the entrepreneurs on a live broadcast when it was meant to be a business or an investing show? Because it's not that easy to do so, and it's also brave. So, and also, do you think as a society, should we correct this cultural appropriation moving forward when our standards of accepting of any product without representation is the norm? After hearing us talk, what about Simalu's situation? What do you think the key differences between appropriation and appreciation for products?
And we have one last bonus question. Do you like full sugar or less sweet in your boba? Thank you for tuning in to the episode where we discussed our thoughts on the whole Simu and boba situation and the cultural significance behind it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and hope that you could tune in again for our next one. Thank you and have a great rest of your day. Take care.
Bye.
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 Bye.